So, when systems use Māori models, and this is one of the things when the Working Together group wanted to use a Māori model, and I thought, cool, but you got to understand those Māori models. Because I've seen it too long being used, Māori models being used for funding purposes, without fully understanding what that whole Māori model was all about. So this is a little bit about today. We can't do it all in one day because we haven't got the blooming time. But if I can share some of that today with you, with a lot of yous, and if we can also share about coming together, actually coming together, and then pressuring our powers to be. And I see some bit of resource money in here, in terms of sharing resources. And that's what we got to do. We got to go back and pressure our systems. Pressure our systems. The other part about it is, rotorua nui a kaumata mōmoi. We do it for rotorua. I can't speak for Hamilton. I can't speak for Tūhoi. I can't speak for Mātātua, but I can speak for Taro. And I can speak for Te Rotorua Nui a Kahumata Maumui. We are all not the same. Kai roto I wā tata nei manakitangi is tēnei mea te inclusiveness. And that's the inclusiveness about recognising everybody's difference. One of the things we've been treated in terms of being Māori, so when you see, I've got a little glossary that I've been using in terms of working with systems. And I got told this, but matua, in the Māori dictionary it says this for this kupu. So what I went and done, I said, well, wala putu nuku kōpako te roro tarangi, instead of Māori. Because we do. Not all tribes look at the same kupu and have the same marama for it. And that's one of the things that systems have got to understand. Because if you treat us with one tool, guess what happens? You won't get that outcome. So one of the reasons they're also in working with our community in terms of Tatau Pounamu, which is the Eastside Collective, was working with our communities because Māori, our tribal groups didn't go into these communities until some bulldog came along and said, hey, Matu, we need to work together. Some pitbull, sorry. Because we were always suspicious of community groups. Why were we always suspicious of community groups? Because they were predominantly mono. And they drove our thinking. They drove our thinking. And we had a little, it was interesting, even within our own group, about around the rangatahi. And I tried to, and I think I got that across. There's many things for rangatahi. But the rangatahi is a kupu that's been taken to mean youth. Instead of being taken, if you use this fullness of the language of the rangatahi, it means young, something new. Something fresh. So we'll have a kōrero like this. Oh, tana whai kōrero, marungi te paipai nei ko tērā tangata he rangatahi tonu ki te whai kōrero. So what he's saying is that even though he's a pakeke, he's an advantage group, but his whai kōrero is rangatahi. Still building, still young, still maturing. And so that's the rangatahi. So rangatahi can go right across from child all the way to adult. So understanding that. Okay, that's just taking a kupu test to work on. So, Pūtake Nui. So where did Pūtake Nui come from? And this was the question I asked our working group. Why do we do what we do? Why do we do what we do? Do we do it for systems or do we do it for people? And that's one of the crucial points of what we think. So Pūtake Nui, for us, is our creation period. So what the hell did Iho Matua Kore start this world for? What did he do it for? So that used to be the question of me, why did I have children? And we battled up, me and my children battled up. But we got to a good space. But when my mokopuna came along, then I realized what I was here for. They gave me clarity as to what I was here for. Pūtake Nui. Pūtake Nui. So I'm just going to share something with you. You guys got to turn around. But that's why the seats are like this. See this little fella here? Whatever kaupapa you have. So these are my mokopuna. Okay? That's my mokopuna. They're my pūtake nui. They're the reason why I do things. See that? Beautiful carving, eh? Well, that's what I want to put into my mokopuna. That's what I want to put into my mokopuna. Grounded to Papa Tuanuku, connected to Ranginui. So if you have a look at all those pau there, those pau around the wall there. So if you're dealing with my child, where do you fit? Where you, what's all these pau? If you're dealing with my child, where do you fit? Because a lot of you in systems will be dealing with my child. Is that right? So what do you want? Do you want to do this? Or do you want to put a scab in there? So that's what we're trying to do. Every one of these. Hopefully every one of you. You want to make this as a tahu as it is. Okay, so our child is grounded and connected. So we put a heavy emphasis on identity, culture and language. One of the reasons we do that is somewhere along the line we lost our identity. Somewhere along the line we lost our identity. So that's what we do. Putting in these elements. So, Mike, what can you add to that? Barbara, what can you add to that? And the only way you can add to that is to start getting into those systems, because the systems have a lot of stuff to do in there. There, you as a parent, you as a mother, you've got this too. How do you think? Some of our parents don't have the skills to do that. So somebody said, oh, well, we'll start up a parenting program. I don't know if that's working, but it's a start. But yeah, this is this Rotorua working together, eh? Let's start putting these things in. Let's start when we work with our tamariki, ensure that we're putting in good stuff. Ensuring that we put in good stuff. And sometimes that means you've got to listen. Is that right? Yeah, but they got to listen, eh, bud? Yeah. Then listen, you got to listen. Even though I don't like listening to my moko sometimes. But even that, when they're in tangi, when they're in anger, then I got to listen. That's a reo in itself. That's a reo in itself. That tells me, oh, my moko is angry at me. Why is he angry at me? I've done something wrong. So when I come to you fellas in your systems and say, I'm pissed off at you, there's something behind that, eh? But today really, yeah. And that's in Rotorua promoting te reo. Cool. How much as a system do you put into that? How much as a system do you put into that? Because I tell you what, with my te reo, even though I was forced to do English, but with the two sides, See that pou? Looks like a big heavy pou, eh? But it's not heavy anymore. Not heavy anymore, because I can walk out of this whare and see that out there. I can walk out of this whare and see that out there quite clearly. So that pou is not a heavy pou. And just imagine, if you put a lot of scabs, a lot of paru in there, guess what that pou is going to be? Guess what that pou is going to be? It's going to be heavy, eh? Heavy burden. And you see a lot of that in our rangatai tamariki mokopuna at the moment. A lot of burden. They're crying out for help. But if we are not working together, help will not come. Help will not come. So that's one of the reasons of the Rotorua Working Together group. Understanding that too, eh? Understanding that. So this is what today is about. Pūtake Nui. Ane, wa tātou kaupapa, rangatai, tamariki mokopuna mā. This is what we're trying to achieve. And you will not achieve this if you're not working together. Is that right? Seems pretty blunt and simple, eh? How come it's so difficult to do it? So today is about that too. It's about challenging ourselves to actually, systems are doing this, let's challenge those systems and just make the change. Because today is about that. Today is about us making change. And saying, and giving up, oh, I can only spend my money over here. But this government is talking about well-being. So no matter where it comes from, it will go right across the board. So if somebody comes here, oh, I've got a mental health issue, they won't only have a mental health issue, they'll have an education issue, they'll have everybody issue that is going down in the system. They'll have it all. If I got a money in terms of my Tina or something like that, they'll have the same issues. They'll have the same issues. And we will have different tiers, different layers of terms of where we are at as a whānau and where we are not at as a whānau. So when I look at the stats, and it's not very good. So you'll have two different things. You'll have, if the stats are saying 40%, that's women high. If the stats are saying 40%, that's high. So there's another 60% that think like this, but there's a 40% who think like this. So if this 60%, if that's what we're talking Manaki, how can this 60% help this 40%? And are you willing to help? And that's a lot of the questions we have to ask ourselves today. We have to change our thinking. We have to change our thinking. Even in the place to understand that and the place I'm moving towards that in terms of how does punitive look? Do we change that? They're working hard at it, trying to. We'll get there in terms of that. Just got to get them to share their money with all the other ones. Hey, I've been working on their fellow to try to get some money. And even, so a lot of our, so that's what today about is. And there will be stuff that will come up that the working together group will be sharing with you guys. And but the intelligence in this house, they brought it in here. Here's one of them. Here's these pou. Here's these pou here. And where do you play? Where do you play a part in that? Where do you play a part in that? Because if the pows are weak, guess what's going to happen? What's going to happen to this? And that's where we're at the moment in terms of our systems. Our pows are weak. Our pows are weak. If they were strong, then we'll have better outcomes for mine. We'll have better outcomes for mine. What is our time, Joel? Is it cup of tea time? Ding ding. So yeah, just wrapping up, that's what today is about, people. How can we better work together, eh? And work together for the Rotorua Nui a kahumata mō mai. We can't work for Hamilton, we can't work for Wellington. We're not there. We're in Rotorua. We're in Rotorua, so we got to work for the Rotorua. I can't go into Hamilton and tell them what to do. And then my Māori pōtai tells me I can't go to Koutu and tell them what to do, but I'll try and have a go at that. Yeah, I'll just get my other pōtai, my taharangi whakapapa and my tīmaharangi whakapapa and I'll go over there. But yeah, and those are those little, understanding this kupu mana, eh? Understanding this kupu mana and who lights the fire in different areas. The Working Together group wanted to look at a Māori model. And, how could we do a Māori model? And they came up with the whare model themselves. So kōkanga. So they had these 4 pose, four places of conversation. So one of the reasons of kōkanga, if you ever look at the kōkanga, and then I spoke earlier about all those posts. You're on one of those posts, don't forget that. See those kōkanga, what does the kōkangas do? Hey? They connect, eh? They connect. They connect to all those posts. So why do they connect? Communication, eh? Kōrero. Kōrero to get the conversation going between all these posts. Alright? So when I spoke about it earlier, that we're all part of these posts. Mike, you're on this post. How strong are you? Oh, you've been doing all right. You've been investing into this, eh? Where's Ministry of Education, Nance? So we got to work on Ezra too. So, because you're all going to have, like I said, an impact on our rangatai, eh? And if you're not working together, it's not going to happen. So these are these posts over here. And what have you got? What have you got in terms of your skills? So one of the key things of a good power in this, obviously, how do you work with Māori? One of the key things, how do you work with Māori? When I'm saying 40% is not bloody good enough, because a lot of the power that I'm looking in this room will come from a white background, from a monoculture. So how do you do that? So that's one of the growth areas that a lot of our pau have to understand our tamariki, eh? To understand our tamariki. Whānau in here too. Whānau in here. The whānau of our tamariki mokopuna. And we know that a lot of our whānau, especially the ones we deal with, are not strong. As a pau, they're weak. As a pau, they're weak. So how do we do that too? How do we, as a Rotorua, to working together group, do that? How do we help our whānau? Because in the end, they're the first port of call when they come to tamariki mokopuna. Is that right? Yeah. So and it's always been a bugbear with me, one of the problems that we do, we focus on the tamaiti. They are the Pūtake Nui. They are the reason why we do things, to make sure we get a better outcome of them, instead of focusing on the pose around them, the people who are going to impact on them, because it's adults that are going to impact on our tamariki mokopuna. So if our whānau are not strong, how do we as a system help that? You know, like OT, we have all this about OT, taking the tamariki, just taking them out. And then so we got to have a look at that, as to what is the trauma, what is the thing that is caused. Once you do just take, what is going to happen? Is there a better way of doing it? And that's what we're talking about today. Is there a better way of doing it? So we've got a group working on that, working on, is there a better way to do it in terms of OT? And then is there a Tāroa way to do it? Is there a Rotorua? Obviously there's a better way to do it than what is presently happening. And government is friendly to it. They're friendly to it. They want it to happen. So this is a good exercise today, is how can we make this happen? How can we make this happen? So those are your kōkanga. These are your pau. And then you got a little bit on there, these heke. So what you got to understand about in the tupune whare, there's a hell of a lot of stuff going on. First is our creation. There's a creation again, how is it? That's why I said if you can walk out of here, out into there and see all this, you'd be in an awesome space. Okay? So we got the creation and we got our rangi tūhaha. The 12 heavens, eh? 12 heavens. So what is me as a po? What am I waiting for? What is the rangi tūhaha going to do to me? Supposed to receive. This is your energy, to be open yourself to receive the energy from your creation. So on that thing, we have rangi nui and papa tuanuku. Rangi nui, papa tuanuku. So we got another space going. And then the next space we got going is a human person. Okay? That was one of the things that when our tupuna board started to bring tūpapaku into the house, they had to find a way to do it. They had to find a way to do it, to bring them in, because you didn't bring tūpapaku into our whare back then. So they reverted back to the man. So on that po over there, in the third po sits our tūpapaku, when our tūpapaku come in the room. So I'm tūtānakai, you enter into me, where would that place head? Nope. Boom. Heart. And that's why it's there. Over here, our manuhiri come here, the māngai nuis, o tēnā iwi, they're over here. So what's along here? I'm a doctor now. Hey, what's along here? Your lungs, eh? Your lungs, that's why you get all the men doing the pau. And then over here is where we put our pai. I see us going right across now. In some of them, there's a kaita pai, but over here, we're still over to here. So what's around this area? Yeah, you got puku. Yeah. You got your kidneys, your livers, eh? Your kidneys and your livers, what do? Cleanse, eh? They filter out stuff. So that's what we're doing as a pipe. Filtering out the caudate. Filtering out the caudate. Just in case those Ngāti Rangi Wiwi comes in here and want to do battle. Eh? So then they tell me...
At least they're not flat.
Yeah. So this is what this one is doing. Eh? And it also relates to the outside. When you go outside, what does this do? Who are the filters outside there? That we're destroying by the bloody mess of mother thing. Who are the filters out there? Eh? Our swamps, our wetlands, eh? That's why we got a dirty lake, Stevie. all our ate has been paru. We've cleaned up a lot of these wetlands so you buggers can put a house on it. But this is what they did. So that's how our thing were able to be rungi tamanaki tangata tangata, eh? And they used the abdomen to the what do you call it? The abdomen of a person to do that in this particular time is tūtānakai, eh? Yeah. And that's how we work it. So those are those sort of things. And that's what and I said, when you use a Māori model, there's a lot of stuff that you got to understand. You got to understand a lot of, and that will change in another whare. It will change in another whare. So why does that thing? Because tikanga allows you to look through your pair of eyes, eh? That's why I'm saying, Wellington, you haven't got a fix for me. Hamilton, you haven't got a fix for me. Because our being world is different. Our environment is different, eh? So yeah, that's just a little bit of this whare model into where we got to in terms of that, and explaining to our steering committee. Yeah, don't tick box it. understand a little bit more about our things. Then you may be able to actually look at a lot of our kids, and it's not going to happen overnight, but you may be able to look at a lot of our kids and see it differently, eh? But I think the main thing, for me, the main thing is they are the root cause of why we do everything. Our rangatahi, our tamariki mokopuni, they are the root cause of why we do anything. They are not the problem. They are not the problem. It is the pos who are weak that surround it, and that's normally us, pakeke, elders, mature people, family. Again, going back to that thing, unequal input for equal outcome. So, yeah, sharing is caring, eh? Kindness is good. Go.